You're listening Table 12 Podcast. Danny Barr, Paul Marino, Rob Klein in the other room. Gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. You know what I didn't tell you when we were doing before? My dog's going blind. Like legit going blind.
How do you know that?
Because her eyes are clouded over.
How old is the dog?
9.5. But I came downstairs about maybe 2 weeks ago, and I could say it happened overnight. And went to the vet, got pills and drops. Did that for a couple of weeks. No improvement. Actually got worse. So I now have an appointment with a canine ophthalmologist. But
Okay.
I don't think there's anything you can do.
I think that sounds expensive.
It is. It already has been. I'm going to go for the consult. I'm not going to go crazy. I can't go crazy.
How long you
on
had
this.
the dog?
The whole time.
No, but how long? How many years you have him?
Well, she's 9.5, and I've had her for 9 years and
Okay.
3 months.
All right.
You know, but yeah, I don't. You know, we have to, like, when we give her a treat, I almost have to touch her nose with it to know that, so she knows it's there. And she stays by my side now all the time. And when I walk her, she's like, she doesn't pull ahead anymore. She walks right next to me because she's unsure.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the question is what do you do about a blind dog?
I have no idea.
Do I get her a smaller dog to guide her around?
No, I guess you become the service.
I'm the seeing eye dog.
You're the service dog to the dog. Only you're not a dog. You're the service person.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
Sad to see. You know, she's a good girl, but what are you gonna do?
It's tough having animals. You know, my daughter went through it too. She saved a dog, but it costs money.
I think this is our last dog. I think we've reached the age where I don't have time to train another dog who's going to outlive me.
Yeah.
You know, and then what do you do with the dog? Who's going to take the dog?
Yeah.
You know, shelters are full of dogs from people that died. You know,
Yeah, I never thought of that way. Yeah. But
that's why you keep me around.
yeah.
The best dog is a grand dog.
Yeah, well, say the same thing about kids.
Exactly.
But so this weekend we watched on Netflix
Miracle.
About
the 1980 hockey team.
Very nostalgic.
Very. It really hits. You know, it hits home. You see them like they're like us. Like 45 years later, they're old guys now.
Yeah.
There wasn't much I didn't know already because I saw the other movie and I followed it. I saw it in real time.
The Kurt Russell movie.
I think the best part of the documentary was the fact that they're all looking at it through their eyes again and seeing their reaction to all the stuff that went on in that whole year and a half period of time when they got together. And
you're watching them watch it.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it.
I love that.
Because you really saw all their emotional reactions, both inside the group of hockey players and also the reactions with their families and seeing that some of their families are gone. And, I thought that was the cool part of watching it.
I liked that even though they hadn't seen each other in years,
it picked up.
The bond is still
because
there.
that never goes away.
The ball busting.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what it's like with my buddies from high school. I can go 20 years without seeing them, and immediately we're just insulting each other.
It's a similar type of thing when you have lifelong friends, but the fact that they went through something so dynamic and so relevant that it's history, it lived forever, that it makes it even more special. And the fact, the journey that they went on, they were basically the two biggest groups of players came from Minnesota, where they won a national championship, and then Boston.
Right.
There was other parts of the country that they came through. But
well, go ahead. They were from obviously Minnesota, which Herb Brooks was the coach.
Yep.
Won 3 championships with the University of Minnesota. But it was Minnesota, Wisconsin, Ohio, North Dakota, Michigan, and not Massachusetts.
Boston.
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah. And they And I could listen to those guys talk all day. I think they're hysterical
Mhm.
watching them. Just they were all so very humble, and they all appreciated the honor that they had to represent the United States and to achieve that win against Russia,
Yep.
which was never supposed to happen.
No, I mean, during the course of the journey, they played 60 games as a team together. And, they got their clocks clean. And I remember the games. I watched these games. They played in the Garden against Russia,
Yeah.
and it was 10-3 game. It was a 10-3 loss. And, in the course of this whole Olympic trial and Olympic practices, and they played all these games, Russia was dominant for 20 years.
Well, it was men versus boys.
Yeah, it was.
These
were college kids.
On average, they were 22 years old.
Mhm.
The Russian team, on average, 26.
Yep.
And that's a big 4 years.
It was apples and oranges. It really was. But sometimes, if they played 10 times, the Russians would win 9 out of 10. They won that game.
They won the one game.
They won the one game.
Yep.
Okay. But I like the journey. I mean, and at the end, the players, after Herb Brooks died, the players even said, he goes, we never really got to know him. It was by design. He did not want to get close to any of the players. And he regretted that before he died, that he didn't want to be their friends. He knew in order to make this hockey, to eclipse and win a gold medal, which he didn't think they were going to win. He said, if we win the bronze, I'll be happy with you guys. But he felt that they had to be more in shape than the Russians, and they had to be on this, kind of us against them mentality.
They got to be hungrier.
And they hated him.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't talk to him. They hated him. And because, they were playing the game against Norway when they were getting ready to get into the Olympic part. They went to Europe for a tour. And, Norway, they were looking at the girls in the stands, and they weren't focused on the game. And they wound up losing to Norway. He kept them after the game was over, and he made them run.
Because he didn't think they played hard enough.
Right.
And so they called them Herbies.
They called them Herbies, but it's like the suicides.
We called them West Pointers.
Yeah.
In high school.
It's the same thing. You go in line to line, back and forth. Suicides, you can call them. They call them gassers in the NFL. They call them gassers.
But he did it for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, but they shut the lights off, and he made them stay on the ice. They said, we got to close up the rink. And,
And then the next day they went out and played their ass off.
And they won the game.
Yeah.
So he was trying to install discipline because he knew what it took. He had gotten
cut, yeah,
from the
1960.
1960. And he how it felt. And that's why he had trouble getting down he had to get down from 20. He had 26 on the roster, but for the Olympics, you had to get down to 20, and he had to tell one or two guys.
And one of the guys, like, he actually got emotional telling him because he was the last one cut from the 60
He was the last
team,
one cut.
and now he's got to do that to somebody else. Yeah.
And they won, they won the medal in that Olympics that he got cut. So he's sitting next to his father watching the game from home, Herb Brooks, and his father goes, "I guess they cut the right guy."
How brutal is that?
That is brutal. So I mean,
that'll put hair on your chest.
God Almighty! But I mean,
I remember when I was a kid, we'd be watching Olympics in our house, and my father would sit there, and he'd say, "Boy, I bet their parents are proud."
Because you're sitting with him doing nothing?
And I said, well, I bet their parents didn't smoke 3 packs of Luckies a day.
But and the way it goes through the whole dynamic of it, and they win that game. And then they started to celebrate too much because they were famous. They were going around the town and they were getting caught up in it. And he got pissed because if you don't win the last game,
there's one more game.
Nobody's going to remember this.
So but one of the things they did in the documentary that I liked is they interviewed Eric Heiden.
Yeah.
And I remember leading up to that Olympics, Eric Heiden was the golden boy.
He was Mark Spitz
absolutely
of skating.
Posters on the walls,
Sports Illustrated,
right?
Wearing the gold suit.
Yep, and boy did he get overshadowed. He won 5 gold medals. and he wasn't the
But
biggest.
he was in the stands watching them play hockey when he was off.
He wasn't the biggest story.
No.
You know, and so I mean, but I like how they interviewed him. I thought that was classy.
Yeah.
They interviewed him, and because he was the guy that was supposed to get all the attention.
So, everybody remembered that the Russian game wasn't the gold medal game.
No,
And they were going to play Finland. And,
which was not a bad team.
no, they were a good team. And they were losing 2-1 after 2 periods. So they really came back and they stormed in the third period.
Well, that's when they kicked the coach out of the locker room, and
they
did their own pep talk.
The coach heard them all yelling in there, and he sent his assistant coach Craig Patrick, and he went in there and he says, "Get out." He goes, "Don't worry, they're focused. They're getting themselves pumped up for the third period." And I think they scored 3 goals in the third period. But Craig Patrick, by the way, I don't know if you remember him. I mean, his family was big in hockey. They at one time in the NHL they had divisions. The Patrick division was
right. Was that named after his family?
Yeah, his family.
Oh, okay. That's what the Rangers were.
He was the general manager,
right?
Yeah, and he was the general manager of the Rangers for quite a while. Craig Patrick.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, a lot of players on that team. I don't know if you realize how many players went into the NHL.
Oh, actually, I do.
Okay,
I have it written right here.
I do too.
Okay, but I'll let you take that.
Well, I'll give you the.
You're the hockey fan.
The first one, Kenny Morrow, played for the Islanders. He was on all of the Stanley Cup teams in the '80s. 4 of them. Ken Morrow.
A few of them went to the Islanders. There was a couple of guys,
but Kenny Morrow he sticks out in my mind. If you have another,
a couple of guys went. The Bruins, North Stars, Islanders.
Well, the Rangers got Mark Pavlich and Dave Silk.
Mark Pavlich, sad story.
He died. Apparent suicide
In a mental institution.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was going to bring this up to you, but everything I read online, nobody mentioned CTE.
But his sister wanted him to check into it with him.
Everything seems like it was CTE.
Yeah. But a lot of Jim Craig went to the then Atlanta Flames, okay, in the National Hockey League. And the Atlanta Flames wound up being the Hartford Whalers. And then they moved from Hartford, and now they're the Carolina Hurricanes. Just a side note on that.
Right.
But a lot of players, Mark Johnson, they all played. A lot of them played in the NHL. But I think Kenny Morrow was the most prolific because he won Stanley Cups.
The funny thing is Eruzione didn't.
No.
And he stayed with hockey.
He went into broadcasting. He was a broadcaster for the Rangers for a while.
And he kind of was like an ambassador to hockey and became a motivational speaker. But here's the team captain, scored the winning goal against the Russians, and he didn't do it. He didn't go to pros.
I remember about that goal, too, because there was still 10 minutes to go in that game. It seemed like 100 minutes.
The longest 10 minutes
because
ever.
They say that. You talked about it, too, because I remember, hockey is funny because I've seen games where 4 seconds left they scored, In fact, matter of fact, in the Russian game, they scored with 1 second left in the first period to tie the game. That was in the documentary. But
that was Johnson that scored that. And I guess he was their golden boy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And he was from Charlestown, Boston.
Boston, yeah.
I thought the documentary was good, but like I said...
we're from Bunker Hill.
Yeah.
And, they won at Bunker Hill.
He goes, no, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
He goes, well, I didn't want to hear that. But I thought the best part of the thing was the fact that they showed, these guys in 45 years later, and they talked about their experience. They talked about their families as far as, and
they got all their teeth fixed.
Yeah, they got all the teeth fixed. But their reaction all throughout the documentary, I think, is what made it really good. So I recommend it. It was only an hour and 40 minutes.
I was surprised that Jim Craig was not with them in Lake Placid while they were watching the game. Today, was watching. So I tried to find out why. I couldn't. But they said that probably of all of them, he's been the most active when it comes to reunions and appearances and representing that team. Because he wasn't there in Lake Placid for the documentary, that he was home, and they interviewed him at home. some rumors got started on social media that he didn't want to be a part of it, didn't want to, doesn't have a relationship with it, when actually the opposite is true.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, at the very end, when they come walking out of the arena and they're just walking down the street in Lake Placid,
Yeah.
and people are stopping
Cool.
them on the street, I loved it.
Very good. I thought it was really good.
45 years. Well, 46 now, but when they did the doc last year, it was 45 years. And I remember watching that game like yesterday.
So do I.
That was appointment television to watch that game.
There's a while I was on Netflix, I saw there's a couple things that are interesting to me. Woody Harrelson's playing LBJ.
I watched it.
Is it any good? Okay. And then I saw that there was something else on there about November 22nd. The Kennedy
That's the Stephen King.
Oh. Is it? Did
I
you
will
see
tell
it?
you, I read the book.
Oh.
It's other than The Shining, to me it's the best Stephen King book. But 11/22/63 is the name of the book, and it's also the name of they made a miniseries.
Oh, it's a miniseries.
Yeah. And but the premise is I'll just go real quick. The premise is starts in Maine, like everything Stephen King does, and there's a diner, and a teacher eats at the diner every day, and then one day the teacher got laid off, and he goes into the diner, and the guy says, I've been wanting to sell this place. He goes, but I want to show you something. He takes him in the back, and in the back of the diner is a portal, a time travel portal. And so it turns out the guy that owns the diner was going back in time and buying food at 1956 rates and bringing it back and selling it at...
Are you kidding?
Right. But so this teacher was obsessed with Kennedy and the Kennedy assassination. So he thought, well, if I can go back, maybe I can stop the assassination. The only problem is when you went back to the same day every time. And it was a day in 1956. So in order for him to do something about the assassination, he had to stay back there for 7 years. So what he did is he kept going back and forth. He'd go back to 56 and then start doing more research. And then he found Oswald and he started following Oswald. And
so now is that,
it's really a good book.
Did you watch the document, the
miniseries?
Yeah. Oh, I want to see it then. I want to check it out.
It's an interesting story. I love the concept. And I won't tell you anymore.
Okay, good.
But the book was great.
But the LBJ wasn't.
It was,
Okay.
But it doesn't make Johnson look very good. The movie was about Johnson getting the Civil Rights Bill, 64 Civil Rights Bill signed. And Johnson always got credit for that. But it really was Kennedy's.
Mm-hmm.
It was Kennedy's bill. Kennedy wanted it passed. Kennedy's the one that came up with it. Kennedy was the one that was for civil rights. Johnson, not so much.
Texas.
He was a Southerner.
Yeah.
And, but it really shows that even in the 60s, the racism and they couldn't get the votes because half the country didn't want equality.
Right.
And so that's really what the movie's about, is Johnson getting that signed. Because Johnson took up the fight. And to his credit, he took up the fight. But all the deal making he had to do to get their signature, to get their vote. And, nothing's changed.
No.
That was 60 years ago, almost, 60 years ago. And 62 years ago. And it's still the same. It just is. The lying, the scamming, the deal making, they're all out for themselves. And, it's to me, it's kind of a bummer to watch that because you expect more, but nothing's changed.
No.
We have not evolved politically in this country. I just don't think we have.
Anyway, that's this week's documentary, and we'll be looking forward to doing other things. But thanks, guys.
Say it.